Welcome to Inside Creative Minds. I'm your host, Trey Goodman. I'm hanging here at Drip Coffee Lounge in Central Phoenix. On today's show, we'll meet Doug Bale, a multimedia artist and more, and Dale Ingram, a web comic creator. And they're both musicians. Check it out. Well, Doug Bale, welcome to Inside Creative Minds here at Sky Cafe in Mesa. I have been trying to get you on the show for the longest time, and you are finally here. Now, for those very few folks in the Valley that don't know who Doug Bale is, give us a little brief overview of the type of artist that you are.
I'm Doug Bale.
You are.
I play music.
Right.
I do, fine art, illustration.
Right.
I do, art on skateboards. I do book covers. I do
Illustrations. We're going to be taking
flyers.
all during this interview. We're going to be taking a look at your work.
I paint children at the fair. No.
We're going to take a look at your work as we're rolling, and but let's talk specifically about sort of the style of work that you hold up this little guy here so the audience can see.
This is a little guy I made. It's Mel Brown. It's an illustration of Mel Brown, a bass player, and I did a book cover with Mel Brown.
And you did all the illustrations?
I did all the illustrations in the book. Mel's a really great bass player,
right.
world renowned.
Right.
And he wrote a book about how he got where he got. It's called From Zero to Sideman. It's available online.
We see this character a lot around town, or characters like that style, very stylistic.
Yeah.
That's sort of what you're known for, I guess. Would you say that?
Well, I've always admired artists that kind of have a recognizable style, from whether it's graffiti artists or postmodern artists, or even, originality, hopefully.
It's very cool. Now, I know there's a way that you do this that's different. You're not painting that. You're not using a pen or a pencil. Explain how you're actually creating the sort of the look of that, I guess you'd call it.
Well, a while back I was working at a magazine, and there was a lot of downtime.
Yeah.
Like hurry up and wait, and I'd just be sitting there with the mouse. I kind of developed this style of kind of a counterclockwise circular motion, and it became this contour drawing. So most of my faces are abstract. Well, it's abstract figurative, but the face is like one contour line. And I have several drawings that are just one line. I never stop moving, and it's with the mouse. And a lot of people are like, how do you, why would you use the mouse?
I had never seen that style, and I didn't know that's how you created it.
I think it contributes to kind of the look, but I didn't mean to, I just gave it away. Anybody can do it.
It certainly
Literally.
does. Let's talk about the music side of you. Now, you perform, and you're a singer-songwriter, but you also promote shows in the community. What got you started into music?
Well, I'm glad you asked that, Trey. I'm a performer. I play. I promote a little. I sing. Singer-songwriter. I've had some bands I've admired, record some of my songs.
Really? Like who?
Yeah,
Who?
well, Gloratone, a band that one of my all-time favorite bands, recorded
So
one
you
of my
wrote a
songs.
song and they recorded it?
Yeah,
That's
in the
pretty
hopes
sweet.
of maybe, doing something with it. But what was the question?
What got you started? What got you going into music?
I love music. My family's always been into music. My big bro was kind of a big influence. My dad always had records laying around,
You just seem so creative. I
music.
mean, if you're doing graphic art, you're doing illustrations, you're doing music. You're so creative. How do you stay so creative and so cutting edge as it is? What's up with all that?
I'm right on the edge, man.
You seem to be.
Well, it's hard. It's not that easy, and that's why I'm the one being interviewed. No, I have to go to a personal creative trainer.
Oh, come on. You have a personal creative
This
trainer?
doesn't happen by accident.
Really?
Yeah, it's a lot of hard work. I brought a tape for the director, Joe, actually.
Wait a minute, you gave Joe, our director, a tape?
Yeah, I go to a personal creative trainer, and I documented it and brought a tape for Joe, the director.
Oh, okay.
It'll give you a little window into what I have to go through to get to this.
Okay, if you can roll that tape, Joe, go for it.
And swoop. And swoop. And that's good. That's okay.
Hey guys,
Swoop.
are you Jack?
Oh yeah, man. Hey.
I'm Doug.
Yeah, that's good. Keep going. You're gonna find it.
Hey, I'm Doug.
Hey, sorry, I was just finishing up. How
Oh,
you
I'm
doing?
sorry, I'm not interrupting, am I?
Oh yeah, that's okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're on time. It's fine.
Great, yeah, half hour. I'm here for the creative personal training.
Let's get to it.
Okay.
All right. So we're gonna start
I
with
got
your
stuff
feet.
to draw
That's
with.
great.
Okay.
Let me go ahead and take that from you.
Okay.
I'm gonna sit this here. All right. Now first, we're gonna start with just opening you up. Okay.
Okay.
That's the main part, is getting you creative. Because I know that that's the thing. You want the flow. You want the milk.
Yeah, I gotta
All right.
be creative or I'm dead.
Yeah, it's fine. Now, I will say, are you on a pretty healthy diet right now?
Pretty healthy.
Okay,
Not
nothing-
really, but nothing
let me-
horrible.
Bacon and beer, okay? For
Okay.
at least the first week.
Okay. Okay,
All
I
right?
got you. I see what you're saying.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. All right.
It doesn't come easy. You have to work. All right.
All right.
We're gonna start with your feet and work all the way up to the tippy top.
Okay.
All right. So I just want you to sit down. That's
All
good.
right.
All right. Now, this is sort of like acupressure, reflexology. I'm gonna touch you.
Thanks for the warning.
It's okay. I learned this at a McDonald's in Budapest.
All right. Okay. This is for creativity, right?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. You do my other leg too?
No, we're only doing one today.
Okay.
One at a time. I don't want to overdo it, okay?
All right.
We're going to work the other leg next session, okay?
Great.
Now, the next thing is you need to learn what it is to be the peaceful, creative juice that you are.
Okay.
You're the paint. That's good.
All right. I'm the paint.
Be the paint, Doug. Paint doesn't talk. That's good. Yeah. Relax. You're a whistle. You're a sonic wave. You're whatever you want to be.
Okay. I'm feeling this already.
That's good. Now I need you to really grab hold of whatever's inside. Come on, grab these. Come on up.
Grab those.
Come on, that's good.
Okay.
Come on up. And then just go.
I see. Okay.
You'll learn this. You'll learn this. I'm a wax belt. It took many years. It's fine.
All right.
That's good.
Keep closing my eyes. Is that
That's good.
okay?
That's fine. It's whatever you think.
Kinda.
You need to see the image you're creating. What are you creating right now, Doug? Come on.
Feels like I'm painting a fence.
No, that's been done before.
All right.
It's a whale. Sit down. That's okay. You'll get him. You can go.
All right.
Have a sit.
Have a sit.
All right, now the good stuff. I want you to paint. I want you to go ahead and draw.
Alrighty.
Do what you do.
That's what I do. I draw.
And I'll be right back. Okay?
Is this like a half hour?
Yeah. Sure, it's fine. I'll be right back.
Okay, that was interesting. You actually pay for that service? I mean, come on, give me a break.
Jacques.
Look, it's obvious.
Jacques. All I can say is Jacques, and it costs a lot. That's not free.
It is obvious that that comedy plays a role in either your artwork, your music. When I go out to watch you perform, you're doing a little bit. You're keeping everybody laughing. Everyone is always around Doug Bale, and they're always laughing. And hopefully they're laughing with you.
I'm that guy.
You are that guy.
Yeah, everybody wants to be me, and I keep everybody entertained.
You do.
Well, that's a compliment. I hope so.
You certainly do. I mean, where's that comedic background come from? What is that all about?
Years of abuse, child abuse. Had to defend myself with humor.
Yeah. But when you perform, I notice. I mean, you do your own songs, but then every once in a while you do some covers and stuff as well.
Oh yeah.
Right? And
oh sorry.
well, and then I'm also going to say you have a tendency to rotate other groups in. You do sort of like a communal music event.
Yeah, I like to do. Well, I go to lots of shows, and you're sitting there, and it's a big setup, and it's one band, and I usually like most of the bands I go see, but 3 hours later you get to see another band, and
Right.
and I'm getting old. Let's face it. So I don't want to sit there all. I got to go home and go to bed. So when I put on a show, if in the first hour, you're going to see 3 or 4 guys. When I do my singer-songwriter showcase,
Right.
like I've done at Drip and Karmic Calamity Gallery.
Yeah. Well, I love that you seem to be really invested in the community, so to speak. Well, I mean, how do you see the music scene right now, and where do you want to see it going?
I don't ever want to control the music scene.
Right.
But as far as the Tempe or the Phoenix music scene, it's amazing. It's great. I mean, you'd have to be like a hardworking music critic working for a paper and to get out to see all the great bands out there.
There's so many shows.
And I don't think people really know that.
Well, that's what our show's about. We try to bring creative minds on. We couldn't find one this week. We brought you on
I
instead.
appreciate it, man. I'm still going to the trainer.
Yeah. But I mean, let's talk a little bit more about illustrations and your graphic work.
Definitely.
You've got this one book out. And
Yeah.
and you're working on another one, or you've got another project going on?
Well, this is my first book cover illustration, and it's a big time thing for me.
Yeah.
I want to get into illustration, whether it's children's books or anything. I used to do editorial illustrations for some magazines, and I still do, where I get a story.
Yeah.
And I did an illustration for, furniture furniture sex or something, or like I'll get a weird quirky article and then I'll have to make a little illustration of what's going on. So I've done that for a while.
How did you and Mel get connected on this? I mean, Mel's obviously very, very well known.
Mel Brown is pretty well known, great bass player, and people are always going to him for advice, so he wanted to write his book. But I got hooked up with it because an old roommate of mine, Matt, what's Matt's last name? I can't remember Matt's name. That'll look good. Matt, I was living with Matt, and Matt plays in some bands with Mel, and he showed Mel my website.
So is that pretty exciting to all of a sudden now you're going to illustrate a book because I know you're a big fan of Mel
It's
Brown.
definitely great. Good. It's very fortunate to hook up with Mel, and it's a great book. And he does little speeches around town. He's doing one at ASU and.
So this is actually supposed to be.
That's supposed to be Mel Brown.
That's actually Mel Brown. Now,
yeah, he likes it. He likes it, but I apologize.
He's larger in life, right? I mean, this is just sort of a thing, right?
Yeah, that's not actual size, Trey.
Oh, okay, sweet. I was just wondering. So, where do you see yourself? What's next? What's next for you? You're
What's
so
the
creative.
5-year plan?
What's the tomorrow plan? I mean, what are you up to? What are you doing?
Well, I'm fortunate to get jobs like this. Just doing more and more illustration work and working with bands and people in the creative.
What about the skateboard
genre.
art?
Well, I've put some of my art on skateboards because I've always admired kind of that skate aesthetic from the late 90s to now. Some of my favorite clothing and the artwork, I mean, Ed Templeton from Toy Machine, just amazing, just stark images and abstract figurative drawings that communicate. It's kind of the weird, quirky style that I gravitate towards.
Your boards are so cool that I wouldn't want to put my feet on them to skate on them.
Well, once you buy it, it's yours, but...
So I don't have to do that then, right?
No, people hang them as art now.
I mean, right, yeah.
Definitely.
Because it's such a cool... First time I saw that, I was like, whoa, that's really kind of wacky. I mean, I was drawn to the coloring and then just obviously the design. Have you thought about doing any sort of just traditional art, sort of like with pen and pencil or brush, not the mouse thing? Yeah.
Some fruit, some still lifes.
Exactly.
I don't know. Yeah. Well, I do draw with the pen and pencil on occasion, but my stuff is kind of quick and frenetic. Like the energy that goes in, I hopefully think communicates. When I slow down, the drawing just gets worse.
Wow.
No. I mean, if I sit there for 3 hours, I could draw something that looks like an actual person, but I prefer the stylized image, probably.
Well, it's certainly around town a lot. People see it a lot, and I don't know. It just says when you see it, it says Doug Bale. I mean, it's obviously very unique. And
thank you.
What are you looking to do now in the next months or years coming?
Well,
up?
I got some more packaging design, and I'm always doing those shows, trying to bring in the singer-songwriter shows.
Let's talk about those posters real quick on your shows. Those are the wackiest posters. Every time you're promoting a band, those posters are like, what are they, sci-fi from the 50s or something?
Yeah, I kind of got sick of using my own art, so I'll steal vintage, weird, corny art. I think I did one with 1950s Mexican comic book art.
Yeah, it's just the craziest stuff.
Kind of hijack some stuff. I like that style, too.
Yeah, it's just really interesting when it always draws my eye to it. I'm like, what in the heck is that? Some weird monster on it or something. You know, and that's just something. That just goes into the comic part of you. How you like to just have the lightheartedness or something?
you can admire. Well, you can admire different styles, and when I steal a style, usually it's as a joke or a kid. Maybe point out the fact that what the heck is that? That's pretty corny, and just kind of appreciate its corniness.
Well, Doug, I love finally setting you down here and talking. It's been great. We could go on and on, but we got to bring on another artist.
All righty.
So hope you're cool with that.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being on the show, brother.
All right,
take care. Wonder how much a creative coach costs. I could probably use that. Hey, we'll be back right after this.
Where are you going to show up this weekend? ShowUp.com is your valley-wide connection to theater, music, dance, art, and a whole lot more. The ShowUp.com calendar and discount ticket marketplace has something for everyone. Enjoy a fun activity with family, have a quiet, romantic date, or some exhilarating action with friends. It's fast, it's free, and it's all online at ShowUp.com. So where are you going to show up this weekend? ShowUp.com. It's all you gotta do.
Supporting locally owned businesses is better for the economy, builds unique communities, and preserves the environment. Find out more at localfirstaz.com. Think local, buy local, be local.
Well, now let's meet Dale Ingram and find out about his webcomic. Well, Dale Ingram, welcome to Inside Creative Minds. Now, you're a web comicer.
A web comicer, I guess.
Comicer?
Yeah, best word we can come up with.
You have a web comic that's on the internet.
Yes.
And you brought a guest with us here. Who's
Yeah,
this?
this is Penny Heartbreaker. She is the star of the webcomic, which is titled Hold My Life. 90% of the story is her.
Now, before I had met you, I didn't know there were web comics. Didn't know anything about that. How did you get started? Just give us a little backstory on what the deal is.
Well, I grew up reading comics, so
Okay.
I always wanted to do one.
Okay.
Always wanted to be an artist. Always wanted to do a comic.
Right.
And I initially had started out trying to go through traditional means and get something published by one of the major print companies.
Oh, actually have a comic, like,
Yeah, actually
like
have
DC or Marvel or whoever, right? Type thing. Okay.
Years and years of sending them art samples and
Okay.
getting these wonderful rejection letters.
Oh boy.
Yeah, you don't draw you don't draw Spider-Man very well, So after a while, I kind of got a little discouraged, and my girlfriend had suggested, well, why don't you just do something for yourself? And I had become interested in webcomics.
Right.
And so I just kind of sat down and with a sketch pad and drew one picture of Penny and started thinking, well, there's a story here. Who is she
Now,
and what
why Penny? Why Penny Heartbreaker? Any backstory on that?
What the name?
The name and
It's-
that you decided with the lead would be
Yeah.
female and
Like I said, I just sat down and I drew one picture and the character just really kind of said something to me, and I thought, okay, well, who is she? Well, she's a musician. She's a blogger. She's this and that. And just as I started sketching the character and doing more drawings of her, I started fleshing the character out in my mind, and then the story just really came to me really quickly just over the process of drawing the character and getting to know her.
Now let's talk about the sort of the story, the plot line, and the characters. But we're also going to be showing the audience some of the actual panels, I guess you would call them, or whatever, so
Right,
they can
yeah, the
kind of get an
panels.
idea how they look and how the dialogue is put on there for the web. Because it's kind of unusual. You watch a panel and then you move it forward when you want to see the next one.
Right.
And the next one and the next one. I mean, that's how it's done on the web. It was all new to me. I'd never seen anything like
Yeah.
that. But it's very cool.
And that one's actually different than most web comics you'll see. Most of them look like they're the kind of the grid pattern that you'll see of most comics.
Right.
All the panels together. And that was one of the things that I wanted to do differently. When I started doing this one, I thought, your monitor is
Right.
landscape.
So you wanna-
Comics are portrait.
So you wanted to fill the monitor
Yeah, I
up with
wanted
each.
Yeah, I wanted to fill the monitor with each panel and really use the space and pull the narration off of that artwork.
Yeah.
Just so you can see the artwork.
And then you have the narration on the side.
Yeah.
A little bit of the storyline, the plot line.
Well, the very gist of the first story, where we start out when we meet Penny, she's out on the road looking for revenge against her ex.
Okay.
She was a musician. She had moved to Manhattan to become a singer-songwriter, and she thought she was going to take the world by storm. Didn't quite work out because she had stage fright.
Okay.
So as she's getting ready to just throw in the towel, she meets this kid who has everything that she doesn't. He has confidence, and he can sing and he can play and stuff. And she thinks, maybe I can make something out of this guy.
So try one more hurrah. to
Yeah, one more
Get
go
the
at it.
band back together,
Yeah,
so to speak, right?
that kind of thing. She does her job a little too well. She teaches him how to dress. She teaches him all these songs and gets him really started. And he gets signed really quickly. And everybody on the planet but her benefits from this kid.
Boy.
And then he cheats on her and all this other stuff. So that's where we meet her. She's out on the road looking for revenge, and then it just kind of snowballs from there.
Now they're not books, obviously. So they're, I guess, a season or what? How do you classify? Like, do you do a certain number a year? Do you do a certain number a week? How does that all work?
I call them seasons.
Seasons,
And then
okay.
within each season there are however many episodes, weekly episodes that I need to tell that story. They kind of vary. I mean, I think one season was 20 episodes. One was a little more.
So
one
like
less.
for 20 weeks, I can follow it on the web.
Yep.
Wow, that's pretty
Yeah.
cool. Now, but I understand you got turned down by all the traditional comic books and whatever, but how did you get on the, how did you still, make that jump from creating it for yourself to then creating it to where other people can see it and have it actually on a site?
Well, I had actually initially set it up myself and put it on my own site.
Okay.
And but within like 2 or 3 weeks, I had discovered this other site, Girl-O-Matic, that
Girl-O-Matic?
Girl-O-Matic,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
They had an open call
Okay.
for new series,
Okay.
and their modus operandi is either comics created by girls or featuring a female lead.
So
And
yours
I'm
fit.
like,
You're fit.
yeah, I'm like, hello, why have we not met? So I sent them a pitch, and they loved it, and we've been going ever since.
Wow. So I mean, it was really just probably perfect timing for you, or just
Yeah, it just totally, it was like, wow, this is exactly where I should be.
So how much time does it take to do a weekly episode? I guess you call
Yeah.
it a weekly episode.
It varies a little bit. Sometimes I'm not really. Sometimes I'm just trying to do a 3 or 4 panel thing.
Okay.
Sometimes I'm trying to get quite a lot more done. But the average is about 40 hours.
Wow. So
Yeah.
there's quite a bit of work in there.
Yeah.
And do you, when you think of the season and you divide it up into weeks, do you do that ahead of time and you sort of have the plot line figured and then you start chunking it down, or how do you?
I have like the broad strokes
Okay.
down when I sit down to start producing the first episode of the season. I have the broad strokes down. I know what kind of beats I'm going to hit, but then there's all this little mystery that happens every week where I'm like, oh, that's not what I expected to be doing.
Now, do you have characters come in and out? Is it sort of organic, or is it more structured, or?
Yeah, no, there are characters that kind of come and go as they're needed. Like the ex, he's not featured in the story currently. There's a new boyfriend, and then there's there's a band that's involved, and she has a little cast of characters and some of her friends and stuff that kind of appear from time to time.
Dale, what I liked about the series when I found out about it, and I don't know where it came in the line, you can let me know, but it's in Phoenix. Obviously, you said it started out in Manhattan, but when I found out about you and clicked on and looked at it, it was in Phoenix, and I guess it is now, and you can explain that. But it was so cool to see various locations that I recognize and scenery. So can you talk a little bit about how it got to Phoenix? What's that all
Yeah,
about?
that's season 4,
Okay.
which the larger title for season 4 is Lost Horizons, which is actually based on a Gin Blossom song.
Okay.
And I wanted to move the whole thing to Phoenix for quite a while, and I just was like looking for a good story point, to hit it and go, okay, this is why, and this is how she ends up in Phoenix. Because I wanted to show like Phoenix has like a great developing like nightlife, especially like downtown, and I'm in all those places. I'm like,
Right.
every time I'm looking around in there, I'm like, God, the Lost Leaf would look so cool, if Penny was sitting there. So,
Right.
so we just kind of went there with that, and it's still obviously the story is going to be about Penny,
Right.
but now her adventures are set in Phoenix, and we'll be showing a lot of those places and all the bands and great people in Phoenix.
So we're in season 4 now,
Yes.
and all the other seasons are online. I can go catch up if I'd like.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's all
and
archived.
there'll be when will season 5? When does season 4 end? Sometime this year, and then season 5 will start. Do you do it yearly? Is that the idea?
Yeah, it's just kind of the beginning and end points of the season is just kind of organic. I kind of have a feeling that season 4 is like a pretty big story.
Okay.
Once we start getting into Phoenix's music scene
Right.
and all of that, I kind of have a feeling that this might be like a big story.
Well, let's talk about the music scene. Not only you have a band, Plastic Flappy Bats.
The Plastic.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The Plastic Flappy Bats. But you also have music available for the web
Yes.
comic.
Yeah, every episode of the comic has its own soundtrack.
That is so cool.
Yeah, I thought so.
And it's local.
Yeah. A lot of it's local. We've used Doug Bale, the Breakup Society, the Love Me Nots, the Love Blisters.
Yeah.
Just so many, because Phoenix has so many awesome bands.
What gave you the idea? I mean, when I get a comic book, obviously it doesn't have any music with it.
Right.
I mean, it'd be nice if it did, maybe, but it doesn't. So, what gave you the idea to tie those two together?
Well, the music connection with the comic is obvious
Right.
to me,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
she is a musician,
Sure.
and like that's kind of the underlying story is that of a
Right.
musician.
Yeah.
But when I started doing the comic, I wanted to do something different because it is a web comic.
Right.
So I wanted to use the strength of the web. as much as possible and do something that you couldn't do in a print comic.
It
And
is.
that's one of
It
those
is
things.
so cool. We don't have a whole lot of time left, but the Plastic Flappy Bats.
Yep.
What is that name all about?
You know what? If I told you, I'd have to kill you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, we were actually issued the name, and we just liked it so much that we were like, we're keeping that name until we die, you know?
And you guys play around town?
Yeah, we're kind of a fledgling band, so we're starting to play out a little
Yeah.
bit and getting our act together.
Now, is any of the Flappy music also on the comic?
Not as yet. We
Not
haven't
yet.
recorded yet, so
Okay.
we're
so that's
getting that
that's
together.
coming up. Maybe season 5, maybe.
Maybe season 5 will be all bats all the time.
Oh,
Yeah, hard to
sweet.
tell.
Hey, if somebody out there's watching the show and they're like, "Wow, I have some artistic ability. I'd like to be a web comicer." What advice you got?
Don't stop ever. Once you start, never stop. Never let anything get you down, and just keep doing it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is that just the secret? You think?
That's been pretty much my secret. I have the character telling herself that all the time, and everybody, you know, I have other characters coming and saying, no, this is what you do. You do what you do because you can't not do it.
Now, obviously, she's female and you're male. I got that. But do you see some of you in her?
Yeah, I gave her some of my neuroses and things like that. You know, her guitar player is the one that I kind of identify with the most. I'm like, okay, that's my voice in the whole thing.
Okay. Well, that's definitely good to know. Well, it has
Yeah.
been a real treat to have you on. I didn't know even about webcomics till I ran into you. So thanks so much for being on the show. It's been
Thanks
a
for having me.
great treat. And hopefully we'll catch up with season 5 and season 6 down the road.
Season 25.
There we go, season 25.
2037.
Okay, cool. Well, that's our show, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to learn more about Doug or Dale, check out our website at InsideCreativeMind.com. Until next time.
Hey, where's my coffee, man?
I'm getting it.